All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I will remind Jonathan one more time. I've also sent him a message, so we do have to have that information in order to be able to attend the meeting. So if we don't have the information or Jonathan doesn't change his name, then we're going to have to go ahead and um, have him leave the meeting. So I apologize for that, but that's just how we need to move forward. So I will just go ahead and give Jonathan a chance. He might be having some technical difficulties. Let's go ahead and get started with the Board of Directors introductions, please. Does anyone want to start?
Hey everybody, my name's Cody Spence. I am the current board president. Been in the community since December 2019. Been on the board, I don't know why I can't remember this, 2.5 years, give or take, I think.
2 years, yep.
2 years, yep. Got some new faces, it looks like, or new people joining, so welcome. Glad you guys could join. Looking forward to a good meeting.
I'm Alex Black. I'm current vice president on the board. Been in the neighborhood since October of 2017. And yeah.
Thanks, Alex.
I'm Marcus Watson. I've been a neighbor since 2008. Been on the board for a couple years now, and yeah, looking forward to a good, productive meeting tonight.
Kathy Tolman. This is just winding up my first year on the board, and I've lived in the community since February 2022.
And I am Alicia Boyer. I've been on the board since last year, and I've been a homeowner since March of 2021, I think. Secretary.
Thank you.
Should you remember?
I guess Kathy Tolman.
Tolman.
I don't know who she is. Nunca la vi ni me
She's
acuerdo.
one of the low people.
I'm going to go ahead and mute you guys. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into, I don't see that we have FD Reserves on the line. FD Reserves, are you here? Oh, there's Bill.
I'm here, Bill Schlumgen.
Hi, Bill. Welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you? Doug Austin is also on the line.
Doug Austin, I'm here.
Thank you guys so much for coming in. So basically, we have kind of gone back on and forth on the reserve study drafts. We've got one for the gated section of Greenfield Lakes and one for the rest of the community. So basically what we're looking for tonight is just a really quick, I mean, we've got a long agenda tonight, but we do want to make sure the board has a full understanding of the reserve study, what it's for, why it's important to keep it updated, and maybe just a quick overview. And then if the board has any questions, I think I saw that Marcus did during, maybe an hour ago he had emailed. So I know we do have some questions. Do one of you want to go ahead and kick it off?
Are you waiting for me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we did. I guess we've done two updates to your reserve study, one in 2021 and the one that was just completed. And you had a reserve study prior to us doing those two. What we do is update the information that was in the prior studies. We look at all the assets and components that the association is responsible to maintain, replace, or repair. And we assess the condition, useful life, repair, replacement cost, and then we project those costs basically over 30 years so that you can see a trend of what's happening, what the needs are for our reserves. And I don't know how much detail you want to get into as to how we do the projections, assessing how much, or recommending how much the contribution ought to be in the reserves. So
I don't think we need to get into too much detail there. Can you explain why it's really important for communities to have reserve studies to keep them updated?
Sure. Basically, the reserve study is, I mean, it's a budget, but it's a planning tool, for the board to use for their financial planning for the association. Um, and you want the purpose behind the reserve study is to identify the amount of reserves that the association ought to have to avoid having to go for a loan or a special assessment in order to maintain their assets that they're responsible to maintain. So, I mean, it's a long range planning tool, and we welcome. I mean, we encourage the board to look at the detail in there and to make sure they understand what it is that we're looking at, and if there are questions, concerns, we need to get together and determine what revisions we need to make, et cetera, for the board. We want the board to understand it and use it. That's where we're at.
Okay, let's open it up to the board. What kind of questions did you have? Let's just dig in. Marcus, go ahead.
Yeah, Bill, thanks for explaining it for us. I know it's all about preventative maintenance, and I know your work is probably worst case scenario so that we can plan accordingly. Um, I'd really like to talk to Gary, and I don't know if he's on yet, but I get Gary's take on the irrigation system and the life expectancy of it, because I think in your report you had it fully replaced in 2031, which I want to say was like $120,000 or $200,000 expense. We've been kind of playing whack-a-mole for the past 3-4 years with the irrigation system. So I'm curious where you came up with that number, and does that fit in Gary's kind of assessment of our irrigation system?
Basically, on an irrigation system, we can't see it, so it's hard to us to assess the condition, and we usually um, ask the board to have their irrigation people take a look at it, provide some recommendation on how long they think the system will last, depending on what kind of material it is, and a budget for what that replacement might be and when. I know we deal with a lot of communities that are going through that conversion from black poly to PVC. And quite honestly, once you convert to PVC, that PVC should last indefinitely. I mean, you're going to have breaks and joints and that kind of thing, but PVC pipe it's not going to wear out.
Okay, so then to back that up a little bit, we're just projecting some unknowns, right? We need to get more with Gary, find out what's going on. You're putting it on our radar so that we can expect potentially some expense, but no full real knowledge of what it looks like, what it's going to cost, given the fact that we don't know what it looks like. Is that fair?
I'm sorry, I did not hear all of that. I'm sorry.
Is my microphone cutting out? No. Okay. I'm sorry, Bill. I just want to confirm that since we haven't seen the system, you haven't seen the system, the $200,000 you put in that reserve study is truly something that we need to rely on Gary for a little bit more to understand how it works or how it looks and what the life cycle, the lifespan is. Is that fair? So the 200,000 that you put in your reserve study is worst case scenario given the unknowns.
Yeah, that's breaking up, Julia. I'm sorry.
Bill, he's asking where you got your number for the irrigation for. He's basically stating that, or asking you, is it best to get that number from the landscaper? Is he going to be more knowledgeable on that? or
Oh,
is it
no,
where?
the
How
number,
accurate is your number?
yeah, the number that's in the report, I think we had a conversation with Michael about that. As a starting point, but that really needs to be verified through, the people that are maintaining the system to get a better accurate, a more accurate estimate on the condition and the replacement cost.
It was more of a projection. Yeah. Okay.
And I think
I have no more questions.
Michael generally tries to guesstimate how much he thinks it will be based off of his experience. But he usually asks for a higher number just to stay safe for the community. Of course, you're not going to want to prepare for a lower number and then your costs exceed that significantly. So,
Sounds like
Marcus.
we need to get a better understanding of the system we have, right? If it's PVC or whatever it is. Because when I saw that number 200,000, I hear replace the entire irrigation system. That in my head, I'm trenching, redoing everything, start to finish. 200,000 is not even going to come close to touching that to do that. So I think we need to kind of talk to Gary, like you said, Marcus, and really understand what that potential looks like, what we're looking at, just so we can try and dial that in a little more.
Did anyone have any questions on anything other than the irrigation system?
I have one, and it's the same question I asked, I think last time we looked at this. When I look at the first couple pages, we've got the funding model summary. We've got the first page is a current assessment funding model summary, and the next page is the alternate funding model summary. I'm not understanding that, and I say that meaning both show the exact same dollar amounts for contribution, inflation, tax, but one is in the red and one is in the green, and they go different directions. So I'm trying to understand how we're getting different models with the exact same numbers, and I'm thinking I'm missing something, but I don't understand that.
The difference between the two models is the contribution, and if you look at the contribution column, those numbers are different for each model. The annual contribution in the current assessment is 70,363 a year for every year. And we use that model to show you what happens if you don't increase your contribution, because you run in the red. So on the alternate funding model, we then put in some recommended numbers in order to be able to get your reserve fund into a better condition.
Mm.
So everything in there is the same except the contribution. The expenses are the same, your full funding is the same, but the contribution changes.
So, okay,
And
so based off of this financial health, essentially the financial health reports, is it correct? Am I reading correctly by 2031, the ending balance goes negative?
yes. And of course, that's our suggestion, recommendation, and you guys need to look at them and see whether or not and we can do multiple models, different projections. We just need some feedback from you.
Perfect.
Once we start getting some of the bids back on the walls and know what's going on there, get some updated models with those hard figures, would give us a
Right.
really good idea of what's coming down the pipe.
And this in total is with the block wall repairs being at just over 150,000 total. Is that correct?
Bill or Doug?
No, I didn't hear was.
I apologize. So, based off of this calculation, are we looking at in total 150,000 approximately just over for block wall repairs?
Yes, and we probably need to take a look at that number and make sure that's an accurate number. I mean,
Yeah, because
and
part of this,
this was a discussion we had with Michael, so
yeah,
that's
no,
Well,
understandable.
Michael just requested this revision. This was just
right,
revised per
right,
the board's concern. Michael had the FD reserves go ahead and revise to include a higher number for the wall repairs.
yeah.
And on this, so you did the higher number, the 150,000. Your assessment's not based off of 50% responsibility or 100% responsibility. You're just going off the dollar amount, correct?
Yeah, we don't do an inspection, but we just do a visual evaluation. And a lot of communities have an engineer go out and do a structural evaluation to know what really needs to get replaced
Yep.
or repaired, as the case may be. And then we incorporate that information into the reserve study.
Which we're doing right now, so we might just have you hold off, Bill.
Okay.
Or did you guys have any other questions? Or are we just going to hold off till we get the engineer's report back for the wall numbers? And then we can reach out to Gary as well and ask him about irrigation.
Like that's like the biggest hole for us as far as forecasting this is concerned, and it's a substantial one.
Okay, Bill and Doug, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you being here and supplying that information.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sounds
We'll
great.
wait to hear from you, and we'll,
Yep.
make whatever revisions we need to make and projections, whatever. So,
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right.
okay.
Have a great meeting.
Thanks.
Thanks. Okay. I don't see Gary. Gary, are you here? I did text him. He showed up at 5:30. We didn't let him in. I texted him letting him know he needed to come back at 6 and he did not. So I also texted him at 6 and he has not texted me back. So we will go ahead and skip Gary for now. If he comes in later, then we can probably address him at that time. All right, so we're going to go jump into open forum. This is a chance for homeowners to address the board, to communicate any concerns, questions that they have. The board may not respond to everybody tonight. We might have to get back to you on some things. We might hear your concerns and not reply. But each homeowner has 3 minutes, and these are about general community matters only. So if anybody would like to speak to the board directly, please raise your hand and we will just address one person at a time.
Julia, real
Cody.
quick, Gary just messaged me, said he's in the waiting room.
I don't think so. I don't show him in the waiting room. I don't show anybody in the waiting room.
Okay.
You might need to
Does he have the
log
correct
out and
link?
log back in.
Does he have
Yeah.
the correct link?
He was in earlier, so whatever he did the first time.
Okay, I'll message him back. Let's get into the homeowner piece real quick. No worries. I don't want to hold everybody up.
All right, I'll let you text him. He's texting me as well, but I'm just gonna focus on the meeting. Nobody's raised their hand though. Nobody wants to address the board. Katie, please go ahead.
I just have a question or comment in regard to that reserve study. When was our last reserve study? And I guess my question would be, why isn't Bill contacting the vendors to find out what repairs are needed before just putting random numbers in a reserve study? That's concerning to me. That was all I have.
Reserve study companies don't contact vendors. I mean, we work with many reserve study companies and none of them contact vendors directly. If there's specific numbers that the board wants put in, and of course they when they have specific numbers, like we have an engineer out, so of course we would want the engineer's information in there to be as accurate as possible. But the reserve companies, they go off of the best to their knowledge, basically.
Okay.
And then these are put in front of the board and management company. So there's multiple eyes on it to adjust the numbers as needed, as they see fit.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that.
And let me just pull up the previous reserve study was done in 2021.
Yep.
All right. Jonathan, your hand's up. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I have my eyes on and my last name in now.
Oh.
Obviously, we've been corresponding earlier on, and I've corresponded with a couple of the board members. Recently, someone showed up on the side of my house in my backyard taking pictures. My kids were there. It was all on camera. In the 21 years I have been here, 5-6 management companies, never has a management company gone to the backyard and taken pictures. I'm concerned about that. Of course, architectural modifications was cited, but the security fences and the landscape lighting are very common among the community. So I was curious why specifically my yard was taken, and I already sent you an email. I'm sure you'll correspond with probably the same information. But of course, the management company said the board requested it, so I would like them to speak to that request.
You guys, mind if I respond first? Awesome. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, so to your last question there, and thank you for joining me. And thank you for bringing this up in the open forum. I appreciate how you're approaching this, man. I will say, first and foremost, the board did request this, and it was me who asked first. I will own that, and I'll do it right there. The board did discuss this at last month's meeting. I will tell you the instruction, and I can confirm this, was not to target your backyard or your home. It was for Desert Vista to start inspecting the common areas where we have shared walls between owners and common areas. We don't care about in your backyard. That's your backyard. What we are trying to stay ahead of is potential liability, financial, fiscal responsibility for either whether we call it shared walls between HOA or owners or 100% HOA walls, depending on how this lawsuit goes, right? One point or another, at minimum, HOA is responsible for half of certain walls and fences throughout the community that are shared between common area and owner lots. So what we're trying to get ahead of is making sure that we don't have walls or fences that the HOA has liability or financial responsibility for being damaged, and then the HOA being on the hook for that bill. In my opinion, that's the exact opposite of being fiscally responsible. Now, to that end, right, like, I've seen some stuff on Facebook, people have gotten cited for string lights, like you mentioned, or other things. Nobody got fined. Not a single person got fined for that from Julia's inspection last week. People got notices, violation notices, but we also asked Julia to send out an additional letter to those homes saying, hey, here's what's going on. Here's why you got this notice and explaining why. so we could put some context to it, because to your point, no one's done it in the past. I honestly thought it was part of their rotation because it's part of the HOA common areas. When I found out it was not, that's when I brought it up. So to that point, it's literally just making sure that the HOA is not going to be on hook for things being damaged that we're being asked to pay for. String lights, I personally could care less. I'm going to guess the rest of the board feels pretty much the same there. So the other thing here we got to look at, the other side of it is, again, we're just going to go with string lights because you mentioned string lights is, right? Technically, you're supposed to have approval. I get it. It's a pain. But if you get the approval, now you're locked in. You've got a written paper. Hey, board said I can have it. No one can take them away. It keeps you clean. It keeps you good. So if we have other board members get elected or things change down the road, you've got that piece of paper, as stupid as it may sound, saying you're good to go. But my ultimate goal here was to protect the HOA, man. It was nothing else than that. Not looking in your backyards. And I went through pictures. I checked yours. I checked others. Not a single person in any of the photos. No people were put in any photos. I checked them myself, and you got the same photos. So I want you to make sure of that as well. Your kids weren't in that. No one's kids were. So, did you
Yeah,
get
thank you.
the letter that Julia
Go
sent
ahead,
out?
Cody.
Sorry, did you get that second letter that Julia sent out with the notices?
I received 3 communications that day, one with the notices and the pictures. I responded back later. Michael responded to me. So it's not like I don't get it. It's just, we've obviously been here many years, 21 years, and not in that time has one of the plethora of management companies gone into your backyard and taken pictures. I'm sure you guys would not find it appropriate either if your kids were in the background and photographs were being taken of your backyard. Do I understand the reasoning? Absolutely. I know where we are as a board. I know where the community is with the walls. I know we're in a lawsuit. But again, the wall responsibility and liability is going to be determined, I assume, solely by the lawsuit. I've had several people in the past contact me, and I've heard whether they're engineers or surveyors walking along properties talking about trees and irrigation and trying to identify a percentage of responsibility. And when you hear those kind of things, they make you uneasy like this. So if it's as easy as applying for the architectural modification, whatever thing there is, have them send me that out. Again, when you have it happen to your house, again, when it's never happened before, it makes you uneasy, especially when, I can look to the front of my house and what it is I can see string lights, I can see sails, I can see privacy guards along multiple fences. And I had asked Julie, I'm like, well, how many people were cited for this? Or not cited, just courtesy notice, as you said. So, I mean, do we need to update the design guidelines? I'm sure we do, because people do like landscape lighting. People do like to light up their queen palms. Obviously, we're trying to protect ourselves from the sun with the shades. Do I get having things attached to the wall, like lighting? Absolutely. But in the area where my lighting was attached, that is probably the most solid wall. Now, my back wall, absolutely deteriorating because it hasn't been fixed in many, many years. And the sprinklers and the grading and everything is starting to put cracks in it where I can see traffic going by. And I, of course, know we have to wait till this is litigated to actually get something done. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And I'll send that architectural request form as well, Jonathan.
Thank you.
So I will say one other thing, Jonathan, just so everyone knows, with that extra letter we sent out, it also, one of the things the board asked for and instructed Desert Vista was an extended courtesy period, because this was out of the norm and it's not something that's been business as usual. So for anyone who got those notices, they have a longer period than typical with other notices or violations as well. And that was something we took into account for reasons you brought up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Also, speaking for a couple other homeowners in the area that I've talked to over this incident and others, we really need to do revised lighting. There's a lot of people that just want to do lighting and they get these notices, and obviously, you know how people feel, how I've reacted, whether it be backyard lighting, Govee lighting, etc. Update with the times and the neighborhoods.
We are actively looking at the stuff for all that as part of the survey that went out. So those are things the board's actively looking at. So,
Sounds good. Thanks, Cody.
yep.
Oh my gosh, I finally.
Scott, you also have your hand up. Did you want to speak?
Yes, I do. Cody, since you requested this, do you believe the level of notices sent out was appropriate for things like mesh on fences to keep dogs from getting out? In my particular case, I didn't put that there. That's been at the house for at least 15 years, looking at Google Maps going back. Why do you feel it's appropriate to cite people, whether it's fined or not? I assume you'll eventually find people for it. Why do you feel that's appropriate when you can't see it unless you're creeping up on my yard within 5 feet?
Good question. And I'll be honest with you, I personally could care less about a little screen at the bottom of your gate. As a homeowner, as a neighbor, I don't care. But here's where the
So
challenge
why
is.
cite? Why send the notice?
I'm trying to answer that. So we as the board, Julia as Desert Vista, we can't give Julia a list of here's the 87 things that are okay, here's the 87 things that are not. She's got to start with a clean, even slate to keep it fair and consistent across the board. Because what we don't know is, well, you got the screen mesh, how did you attach it? Is it possibly damaging the fence? If it's not damaging the fence, again, personally, even as the board member, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. If it's attached in a way that's potentially damaging the fence, which then causes financial liability for the HOA, well, now that's where the concern lies, because my job as a volunteer is to be financially responsible for the HOA's funds. So again, in that situation, I would just ask that you submit an architectural request, the board reviews it, and if it's as simple as that, it sounds like it's an easy one. But there's so many ups and downs, there's no way to define left, right, or in the middle for that. So, and that's why we gave that extended notice period for people, for situations just like that.
And if I could speak, I was the only one out there. It was me that did the tour. I stayed on common area. I did not go into any yards or properties. But I did just want to say I saw a lot of weird things out there. I think generally for normal people who do normal things, it seems maybe invasive or it seems excessive. But if you saw some of the things that I saw out there, um, it's not actually. I mean, people do weird stuff, so we're just asking that you submit for the alteration. That way it can be approved or disapproved, and then you've got it. Like Cody said, you've got it on file. The way that you attach it has been approved. You don't have any issues. But the people that are attaching things badly and that are costing the association money are going to be held accountable for that through this process. So we appreciate you withstanding this initial process, but it is something that the board did and management company as well also feel is required to make sure that the association's amenities are being taken care of in an appropriate way. There was a lot of things that could cause or were causing damage. So we do just appreciate your patience throughout the process.
And then on backyard landscaping, there were a lot of passive aggressive comments in the notes about that, like about your landscaping being overgrown. Part of the reason we do that with view fences is to protect the privacy in our backyard. I don't believe my landscaping is damaging the fence. I don't have any evidence that it is. My fence is in good condition. The metal view fences. Does the board believe they can dictate backyard landscaping?
There's only something I believe that's in our CC&Rs about anything that's visible from the community, but it is definitely not my intention or interest in anything you do in your backyard. You could run a circus in the backyard as long as you're not interfering with your neighbors, and their, ability to have a safe and quiet yard, right? I think that's totally fine, right? If I may share just a little bit of insight from where the board is coming from with this. We just had the reserve study discussion just before this. And based off of the reserve study, by 2031, all things staying equal, with the current budget having been historically for a 50% responsibility of all of the wall costs, our HOA still goes insolvent by 2031. That's with all things staying equal. And so if we are to double the amount that we owe on those walls, now we've got a real issue. And we certainly are trying to avoid any financial impact on the homeowners that is undue. And this is just one of those things that we absolutely have to lock down so that we can make sure that we're not creating undue cost that the entire HOA has to bear.
And
I
again,
understand where you're
Scott, sorry.
understood. Yeah, go ahead.
Again, being out there, some of the things that I saw, I mean, trees have grown into fences. They've grown against fences and are pushing them, causing roots are causing wall damage. There's a lot of things that I saw out there. Your particular property, I didn't see those things, but again, especially with this initial inspection, we had to be consistent and across the board and keep it fair and consistent. So I do apologize if anything felt passive aggressive. It was not our intention. So, I mean, I'd be happy to discuss it individually with you as well if we can talk about your specific. I can place a call to you tomorrow if you would like,
Okay.
and we can
Yeah,
go
that's
through the
fine.
pictures. Okay.
All right. I appreciate the answers. I understand the reasoning. I do feel it's a little bit of overreach to be looking in people's backyards and citing for small things like the lights on the fences, or not citing, but warning. So thank you for the answers. I appreciate it.
All right. Does anyone else have anything for the board before we move on? Okay. We're going to go back to Gary. Gary is here now. Gary, thanks so much for joining us.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. I don't know what happened. I was signed in, ready to go, but nothing that just never opened up for me.
Sorry about that.
No problem. I just signed out and came back in, and then it worked fine. So I just have a few things for you guys. A couple months ago, my wife and I, we were talking. We wanted to donate to the community. So I talked to you guys in a meeting previously about donating 100 lantana to the community and planting them. So we did that last month. I'm watching the watering specifically weekly because we're starting to see a little debris in the lines. I mean, I kind of anticipated this because the lakes actually, the fungus and stuff in the lakes actually grow in the summer when it's hot. But I will say that I don't think it's nowhere near as bad as it was last year at this time. And that says a lot, saying that we really didn't have a winter this year. So I mean, it's been fall, spring, the whole winter. So I really feel like it's definitely improved, and also the color's different. It used to be, we used to call it guacamole because that's what it looked like. It was just green slime. It's darker now. It's not, I can't really tell what it is. And I was hoping to get with the golf course and kind of see what they've done differently because I'd like to understand that. But it looks different. I'm not seeing as many clogs in our lantana lines that we used to. I mean, we would go through once a week, and we could replace 100 emitter heads a week, and also maybe 50, 100 clogs that we could just unclog without having to replace. We're not seeing that now. but we have increased the flow of the emitter heads by, instead of going to 2 gallon per hour heads, we're actually doing 4. So the holes are bigger and it's letting more debris flow through them. So I think it's kind of a combination of the two. We'll stay on top of it, kind of watch it and see what happens as the temperature increases. All I can tell you is what I'm seeing right now. And I will definitely stay on top of it because I don't want any of the lantanas having issues. So other thing I want to talk about is right now we're in the middle of turf transition. That's where all of our ryegrass is starting to fade away, dying out as the temperatures increase, specifically the soil temperatures. When you still have nighttime temperatures in the 60s, it's still the ryegrass will still hold on, and the Bermuda is not so prevalent to take off. So what we end up doing is we start cutting the ryegrass low, stressing it out, and now we've aerated, and now we're going to fertilize. And as the temperatures warm up, I'm starting to see the temperatures getting warmer next week. I think within a week or two we'll have a decent Bermuda base, and a lot of those yellow spots will start to fade away. We're also having in the store to do the pre-emergent. I'm just waiting for our first moisture to put it down because I need a little bit of rain. So as soon as I see that in the forecast, we're actually going to put down the pre-emergent to both turf and granite areas to prevent the weeds in the turf as well as the weeds in the granite. But I need a little bit of rain to do that. The turf, I could do it with just our irrigation sprinklers, but I'd like to do it all at the same time if I can. I'm not seeing a whole lot of turf weeds at this moment, but I'm sure we'll start getting spurge and other things that grow in the summertime. The Penrose Park, the far south park, we did complete all that leveling of all that runoff from the basketball court, so that was all taken care of. I think, one other thing I wanted to say, I'm pretty much wrapped up with my report. I'm sure I'll have a couple questions, but one thing I did want to say is it really was nice to see the flags at the monument sign. Whoever did that, whoever's responsible for that, I wanted to thank them for that. I put up my flag every year, but it was really, and you see other communities do it. You see the school at Higley and the 202 do it. And it's a really cool thing to see, and to see our community finally do that. Whoever's responsible for that, I really love that. So I just wanted to put that out there too.
You're on mute.
Thanks, Gary.
Sure.
I do have a couple questions.
Yep.
For the lantanas, I had no idea you were putting in new lantanas. Did you? Can you provide a map so we know where? Just so we have
I didn't do them in specific areas. I did them throughout the community. Yeah, they're just sporadic throughout the community. Wherever I saw big holes from the previous planting, when they were planted before, I think there's a lot of people that agree with me. And when I saw them, and I've lived here since 2010, so I watched them grow. And when I saw them planted, they especially on the north side, they were pretty close together. We could have spread them out a little bit better. So I'm not filling every single hole that passed that died off. I was just trying to fill some holes where they were void. So that's what we did. It wasn't any specific area. It was just throughout the community. But if you drive around, you'll see them. You'll notice.
Got it. Thank you.
They're a lot smaller than obviously the ones that were there for a couple of years.
Really appreciate you donating those. Thank you.
Sure.
Very cool. For the pre-emergent, how often do you do that? Twice a year? And are we talking granite twice a year, turf twice a year?
Correct.
Okay. And then we normally include it in our contracts as Desert Vista. We require our landscapers to include it, but I don't think that was. Do you know if it was included in
It is
Greenfield?
included. It is included.
Perfect. That's all I had.
Awesome.
Gary, got a question?
Sure.
Thank you very much for the lantanas. Really do appreciate that. I know we've talked about it a couple months, and I appreciate your efforts on that.
Sure.
You missed the reserve study gentleman talking about, what we can anticipate with costs, future costs for the entire community. Part was irrigation overhaul. He's suggesting maybe by 2031, we've got a $200,000 expense ahead of us to replace the entire irrigation system. To Cody's point, that seems super light, but then is that even really necessary? What's the health of our overall irrigation system now? I know we've been playing whack-a-mole a lot with changing this, changing that. What is your assessment of the irrigation system right now in 2026?
Okay, I have a lot of communities where I have main breaks constantly. I have lateral line repairs all the time. I have a property that's a third the size of this that requires main breaks probably 3 or 4 a week. I don't have that here. The issues that I see more are just the sprinkler heads getting clogged and getting broke, or obviously in that one area getting ran over, which we're going to fix that, by the way. That's the area I see most. I mean, honestly, if we had clean city water, our irrigation system would be pretty non-existent as far as repairs are concerned. Most of it is just caused by debris in our system. From algae to, I mean, I found a rubber fishing worm on one of our sprinkler heads. I found we had a main when the system was flushed a couple of years ago with chemicals. They'll put a chemical and then they kill off all the freshwater snails and stuff that are living in the pipes. Well, that all gets washed down line into our valves. And about 2 years ago, we turned on a valve. We had no water, so we thought the pumps were off. Well, then we checked other valves and it was working fine. So we opened up the valve. It was so clogged with snails that at first we thought it was gravel. And when we tried to dig it out and found out what it was, we ended up having to cut the main and flush it out. We probably 4 or 5 feet of just snails clogging the line from our valve forward. So, I think if we work out with a relationship with the golf course where they stay, on a schedule with doing that, because I take care of Cocopelli as well. And anytime they do that kind of stuff, they let me know. We work together, so I don't really have a lot of issues. You're always going to have clogs, but you're on top of it. You're aware of it, especially in the summertime when things get dry. Within days, you don't have water within days. You have issues with your flowers. You'll have issues with your turf. So, but to answer your question, we have normal main breaks. We have normal valve repairs. I'm not seeing anything that would suggest that we need to run all new mainline pipes or nothing like that, but our system is old.
Do you
Gary,
think,
sorry,
oh,
Marcus.
do you want to go do it?
As far as cost goes, are you able to provide a rough estimate, maybe leaning towards the higher cost of a number for an irrigation replacement project that the board can use to plug into the reserve study that they're looking at getting done?
You're talking about the whole system, all parks, common areas, everything.
Yeah. I mean, I know you don't need to put together a big proposal and stuff. We just really need a number to put in there to plan for.
Okay. All right, I can start working on that.
Yeah, Gary, that'd be appreciated. Don't put too much time into it though, because that's a big overhaul. But a number that we can plug in there would be great. So
okay, yeah, it's going to be a big number.
Yeah,
there's a lot of piping.
I bet it is. Do you think that the water quality is better now because they turn the water over a lot more? I noticed that pond goes down 5, 6, 7 feet on the regular. So they're constantly using it. They're constantly adding more. Do you think that's having a cleaner effect on our water?
It could. Also, I'd like to know what they've done with any kind of filtration. I mean, that inlet tube has got to be, it has to have inside some kind of cage with a filtration system. And I know that a few years ago, we talked about this before, where the support that keeps that tube above the ground level, the chain or whatever snapped, and that tubing hit the ground, sucked all that debris off the bottom of the lake. So I'd like to know if they did anything as far as filtration, because I'm also, like I said, I want to work with them because I'm kind of curious why the color of our stuff changed. But I really would have thought that if the water was the same as last year, then we would have more problems right now that we did than as we did last year at the same time, and we don't.
Good.
Gary, have you been able to start work with the golf course yet? Have you set up a kind of a meeting and stuff with them, or are you still, where are you at with that?
I have not. I've met the GM and I talked to Shane Keller a few times. I actually talked to him today. Anytime we're going to do any of the landscape tours, they're gonna loan us a couple golf carts to drive the community. So I've talked to him a few times. He actually seems really nice guy. So I'd like to meet him more on, a few of them more on a one-on-one basis instead of just a phone call. So I'm thinking maybe by tomorrow or next week, I'll probably go in there. And I've never met Shane. I've met the GM though.
Yeah, let us know. I know Shane and the owner, Dustin, they're very, very busy and can be hard to get a hold of. But my guess is you're better off connecting with the superintendent or whoever's running the course itself is probably going to be the guy you want to work with more hands on. So, okay.
I do have, okay, so I want to talk about the golf cart and just let the board know we're doing the landscape tours. And then, Gary, we still are waiting for a proposal from you for the turf, for the project, adding the stakes and rope for the turf area on Quinn.
Yeah.
So if you want to send that over, we can discuss it at the next meeting.
Yeah.
But we want to get on top of that because I saw a ton of irrigation invoices come through today, and
Oh yeah.
I didn't
And
like that.
did you when you drive by there, do you see? It's so funny to me because we've had golf carts drive through this area before, but not like this. I mean, if you drive over there, there's constant. I mean, you probably see 20 golf cart track lines running through our turf. They don't even drive in the same line. It's almost like they spread out. So if we do that rope just like they did in the back, we just keep it to the front. That'll keep everybody off. And I can do that next week. It'll only take us an hour or two. It won't take us that long.
Yeah, just send us over the proposal and we'll talk about it.
Sure.
And then I did have an irrigation invoice that we're going to be talking about a little bit later for $1,404. That was for doing the west perimeter irrigation.
Correct.
The board had directed Gary to go ahead and he explained that the irrigation wasn't just a simple shut off back there, and we let him know to go ahead and move forward with shutting off that work. I just need to get board approval tonight. So I wanted, while Gary is on the phone, Gary, can you maybe just give a really quick rundown and the board can ask questions? That way we can make sure that we're good to approve later.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, the lines that those valves control, they run down the wall, but then they split off and they go underneath the wall into the common areas on Saratoga, Sagebrush, and Rawhide. So we had to trench and find where those lines came off of. The valve up there off of Rawhide we found pretty quickly, but the Sagebrush and Saratoga, it took a lot of digging to find. Also, we had to run a whole new line because that line had each plants, they had single port emitters coming off the PVC lines. So you couldn't just cap it, you had to shut them down. So what we did is we cut them. Once we found the connections going under the wall, we cut that old line, ran a whole new line, trenched a whole new line all the way down the wall. So it wouldn't water anything outside the wall, and it just connected to the piping that went under the wall to Sagebrush and Saratoga. So none of the water is running on the outside of the wall now, just the inside. And if we could, it just took some time to find it because it was deep underground and, it wasn't right next to the beginning of the wall. It took a while to find those pipings.
Is this in any way associated with the other walls, I think, that needed to be looked at more recently that we heard about, that I think were brought to our attention, Julia?
No,
There
it's not.
were some walls that needed to be inspected just to make sure that they were in okay shape,
Separate.
not associated. Okay.
No, it's separate. All right, cool. I don't think we have anything else for you, Gary. Does anyone else? Kathy, you have anything else for Gary? No? Okay. Kathy's always so quiet. All right.
Did we do
Well, thank you, Gary.
All right.
The ride along that you guys are doing on a regular basis now? Just so everyone can know what that's about, or did we already cover that, I think, in past meetings, I think.
We're going
Start
to be
over.
doing
Didn't understand you.
We're going to be doing a quarterly landscape tour with Gary. Our
Yep.
first one, well, it's first with me. We're going to be doing it with Marcus on June 17th at 7 a.m. And like Gary said, he's got us 2 golf carts. So we'll be doing that, and I will also be doing the perimeter inspection again at that time. So we're going to be trying to do that with a golf cart. And while I'm out there, I've seen corners of the community, Gary, that you probably haven't even seen yourself. So, um, so we'll talk about some stuff while we're out there and kind of get updates as we go. And Marcus can tell you what the board likes to see and
Sure.
anything else.
We probably should meet at the golf course since we're getting the carts there. So I think that day at 7 a.m. meet at the golf course instead of in any of the parks.
Okay, I'll update it. Thank you very much. And then Kathy,
Okay.
did you want to be included on that still? You hadn't responded to the calendar invites. You're muted too, just so you know. Kathy, you're muted.
I have not seen calendar invites for it, but you said June 14th.
17th at 7 a.m.
Um,
I included your email, but in the invite, but I can forward it in an email if that's
Okay.
easier. Okay.
yeah.
But you still want to be included?
Yeah, what day of the week is that? Monday?
It's a Wednesday.
Okay, yes, it is.
And Kevin, you don't have to be there, right? We're just you asked to be included on these emails, but you don't have to go with us. You just asked to
Well,
be included.
I would like to do it. Be
Okay.
my first chance. So yeah, I'll be in town and I think it'll be okay. So, but let me double check and I'll respond to your invite, Julia.
Okay, I'm sending it right now, so just contact me later if you don't receive it, and we'll figure out what to do next.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, anything else for Gary?
I guess I was muted, but Gary, I think things are looking really well.
Oh, thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, it was a long process trying to get everything figured out. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Gary.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks for coming.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so if you're following along on the agenda, and just for homeowners, I'm going to share my screen. There's still not really much to share, but we've got the agenda here, which was also emailed to everybody. So for the board, let's go ahead and just go in order. We have the 2 items that we need to vote on. So for the first one, for account number 721613, for the resubmittal of the pergola. Can I get a motion to what are we gonna do?
Approve.
So
I'll
I
move
mean,
to approve
I guess
the middle variant.
okay. Thanks,
Did I do it
Kathy.
right?
You did, yes. And I just want to state for the record too that we're going to be I can't think of the right word. We're not going to be processing the appeal of the denial because it is a resubmittal and not an appeal of the original denial. So thank you, Kathy, for that motion. Does anyone want a second?
Oh,
I'll second.
All right, and we'll open it up to the homeowners. Homeowners, we can't give you any of the personal information, but if anyone has anyone to add to the discussion, please speak now. Okay, and all approve?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, and then for account number 7, let's see, 721777, there was a fee waiver request that was provided to us. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve that fee waiver request? And would you like to do it if and only after a certain amount is paid by a certain date?
I'll motion to, my opinion is, I'm happy to agree to waiving the late fees if they pay the rest of the balance, let's say 90 days.
Are you talking about all late fees, or just the
All late fees minus that's hard fee. Sorry, I'm trying not to say any details I can't say.
Hard costs.
Yeah, no hard costs, but the soft cost of late fees.
And you said 90 days, correct?
90 days. So if they pay all the other balance owed within 90 days, once that is paid, I'm motioning to waive the soft costs of the late fees. How's that? That's more clear.
Great, thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kathy. We'll open it up for homeowner discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Alex, was that?
That was an aye, yes.
Thanks. Okay, all right. Jumping into the minutes for April 23rd, 2026, just so you all know, because of the changes in the law recently, obviously that's why we're doing things a little bit differently in the format of the meeting. We are only going to have one set of meetings minutes moving forward. So right now we do have on the, on the agenda, we do have the executive meeting minutes and the open meeting minutes from 2 different meetings. So we are putting those out for vote tonight. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the 3 sets of minutes as presented?
All motion.
Thank you, Alex. Anyone want a second? And we'll open up to the homeowners for any kind of questions or comments. Board, all approve?
Aye.
Aye.
Alicia, do we have you?
Yeah. Aye.
Okay, thanks. Okay, and then for the financials for April 2026, I will go to page 20. Sorry, 30. We're going to page 30. Board, did you want me to read through the financial summary, or did you guys have a chance to review? You want to jump into questions? Marcus, I know you had a question. I apologize. Between work and the meeting, I took a little bit of time off, and I saw your emails as I was logging in to start the meeting, so I haven't looked at really your emails quite yet. So.
No, and that's okay. It's actually a good thing. Our year-to-date balance sheet showed, I want to say, 325 a month average for earned interest, which of course I knew was light given our balances. But it went from 325 a month to like $6,800 in April, which is a good thing. $6,800 in interest hit our P&L, our balance sheet today. Why? Or for April? Why did it go from 350 to 325 to 6,800 bucks?
That would be a question for accounting. I can get back to you with that. It might have been, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that it's because of a CD, but I don't know what would have happened with the CD that would have made it jump. So I'll get back to you.
Okay, perfect.
Does anyone want a motion to accept the financials even with Marcus's question about the interest jumping higher?
All motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
We'll open it up to homeowners. Any questions or comments? Okay, board, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and then I'm just going to walk through the action items. As I was saying when we started the meeting, I was updating action items all the way up until trying to get out of the office today. So I do have a different list than you guys do. So I'll just run through it really quickly. The golf course meeting, we did get a response from them today. Multiple people reached out, and I think the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So we finally did get some responses. They are extremely busy right now, so they don't have time to meet with us, is my understanding. But they do want to. They are still excited to work with us, and they did okay the golf carts. So that is all really positive. It just means that we're going to have to wait a little bit longer and maybe I might bother them a little bit less. Revising the rules and regulations, we'll address this later in the meeting, and the social committee as well. We'll address in a little bit here. The turf on Quinn, that is the area that Gary was talking about golf carts driving through. So we're waiting for a proposal from him. The basketball hoop keys to adjust the height. Finally have somebody coming out. They'll be out tomorrow to address that issue and hopefully be able to get keys made. They did say if there's too much wear and tear that they wouldn't be able to get the keys made, but they're going to be out tomorrow and they have my phone number, so they'll let me know if there's any issues while they're on site. The
Just a
signs and
question.
yeah.
On that, if they're able to rekey it, where are those keys going so they don't get lost?
Management company usually keeps them.
Okay, you guys will keep that perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you want me to make copies, we can always make copies for. But the problem is, if somebody's not on the board, then or do we make sure they get the keys back? I don't know. So it's usually easier just to keep them with management.
Agreed.
Uh, the signs in the sand at the park. So obviously the signs have been removed. They were in post in concrete. That has all been removed. So they are going to be, they've tried to put the signs as we requested on the posts. When they tried to do that, they realized that the posts are not hollow. They are metal all the way through. So they couldn't do that. They came back and we've been going back and forth. They're going to put them on the no trespassing signs that already exist at the park. So they'll just put it right underneath the no trespassing signs on the same post. And then there's one no trespassing sign that's in the sand at Pinto Park. And do you guys want to see what I'm talking about? Because I have pictures.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. And did you say they're saying the posts for the shades at the parks are solid metals? Is that what they said?
That's what they said.
So 5-inch thick solid metal pipes or beams?
That's what they
And
said.
No wonder why they're falling over.
that I put money that is not a correct assessment. That's ridiculous.
They feel like they're solid. I
They're
knocked
gonna
on.
be probably thick
You
gauge
knocked on them?
metal, but solid. Um, couldn't they, if they can't drill through them, could they just use like a hose clamp around it? I mean, there's other ways to solve this problem without drilling holes.
They could, but I honestly, to be honest with you, I okayed them just putting them the on the existing post because you're not doing any damage. So this is the existing post. And honestly, I think it will look nice as opposed to drilling holes into an existing structure. I think it'd be better to have it on a post, but
Using the signs, I thought these were the other warning ones that they put right in the sand. I'm getting these confused. I apologize.
so they removed the ones in the sand, and those, instead of having them in the sand, those signs are going to be posted with the no trespassing sign
Got it.
underneath it. So there will be 2 signs on that post. It's the same at every park. So, so this is the other side of Pinto Park. So this is the side facing the golf course. They're going to take a look at this one and see if this is in concrete or if the post is just in the sand, because that needs to be addressed anyways. If it's just in the sand, it can just be pulled right out. So they're going to take a look at that tomorrow too. Well, sorry, Friday. I don't know what today is anymore. Yes, tomorrow is Friday. They're going to take a look at that one and possibly just move that post and put it in the grass for us, just like these ones are. I did notice that some of these no trespassing signs are not in the best shape. I don't think that they're bad enough to replace right now. Do you guys want to see these replaced?
Will they make people trespass less?
No, they won't. I don't think, because I don't think trespassers respect signs posted, but you never know.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know.
I usually wait until they're pretty bad before replacing them. I know that they can make a community look bad, but like this, you can't tell that that one looks bad, but when you're up close, like it has a lot of spotting and a couple of holes in it. So honestly, I usually wait till they get like noticeably bad to replace them. But this is Penrose Park, so this one will be posted here.
Hey, what do they cost each? 25 bucks, maybe 40
No,
to install.
no. You mean the replacement of the no trespassing signs?
Yeah, just the sign itself.
Signs are
How
expensive.
much? Just the sign, the 12 by 18.
to, to send somebody out there to get this sign, which this is not a custom one, so it'll be a little bit less, but to get, well, a lot less, but to get this sign and basically put a work order in for somebody to go replace this one with a new one, it's usually over $100 each. So if there's a volunteer that wants to go do this, and I don't know about it, then
To do it.
it just happens one day.
What do
It's
we have?
fine.
3 parks?
Spray
I'll do
paint
it.
the sign out. You're done for pennies, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Cody is saying right now.
I'm mumbling. It's just spray paint the post with new paint, and then get a sign on Amazon for $15. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
in the wrong line of work, man. $100 to put a post.
right? You really are. Okay. So that is the signs in the sand. And I pray that it will be completed on Friday. It should be completed on Friday. We'll see. But they are doing it free of charge. They know how much of a pain it's been. I have been really irritated with them, so they are eager to fix all of it. Moving on, 2026 tree care obviously is in progress. We are now getting daily updates, although I haven't seen one come through tonight, but I haven't checked since we started the meeting. A few trees have been added per the inspection. Whether they were already included or not, I'm not sure, because they had completed some of the trimming, but not all of it, and I'm not sure which sections. But I did email the ones that I had concerns about to Brian. So let's see, that's in progress. The sprinkler overspray solution, we do have a meeting set up to look at that with um, a man named Morgan on June 3rd, and that is including Marcus. So that will be for all 3 parks. They are all 3 different action items. The Park Crest Triangle project is on hold for the golf course meeting. Park lighting, I finally did receive proposals. So they sent me 20 attachments, and I just did not have over 20. I tried to start going through, and I was getting confused to what pictures and brochures went with what proposals. So that wasn't prepared for this meeting. So I went back to them. I asked them to put them all into one PDF and just either send separate emails, something to make it more clear what we're doing here. So those will be presented at the next meeting. The Ramada posts are on hold until we fix the sprinkler overspray issue. Shade sail repairs. So while it was approved in the playground proposal that was approved in August, the repairs were waiting on the concrete columns to be completed. Once those were completed, I let Bellator know we need you now to go out or now to move forward with this that was already approved, the amount that was already approved. They said because it had been so much time, they needed to go do a reinspection. There is additional damage. They don't feel like they can repair it anymore at this time. So they don't want to move forward with the repairs, but they also don't feel like a full replacement is needed quite yet. So they said we can probably table this for another year and reinspect it in a year. So I would like to get your permission to put this on hold until summer of 2027. And also, well, that's it. I would just like to put it on hold until 2027 when we can have it reinspected to see what we need to do with the shade sails.
Julie, do we have any idea what a full shade sail is going to cost when we do replace?
I don't know. But it is
What was
coming
it?
out of reserves, so it's not something that needs to be budgeted.
Well, what was the repair cost? Remember?
Yeah, I can pull it up 1 second.
Would we be looking more at like the thousands or tens of thousands for a shade sail like this?
I would guess tens.
I want to go back to the beginning. I'm a little bit confused. They initially wanted to repair it. Now they're saying it's so bad they can't repair it, but it's not so bad. It's good for at least another year. It seems kind of contradictory. If it's doesn't need repairing and it'll last another year or more, I'm just curious as to what changed that all of a sudden they can't repair it, but it's still okay.
I would think it's probably the fibers have probably worn down enough that them hemming or putting some sort of repair is just going to tear at a new location.
Okay, valid point. Yeah.
Not a shade sail guy, but that's just my guess.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it on the money.
So this is what was approved here. Can you guys see this? So it was torn in one spot, thin and worn in one spot, and detached from the support cable. Although I would assume that that has been fixed because I haven't seen anything detached from a support cable. So I think it's probably these two repairs that were on hold. Actually, I can guarantee you nothing's detached. So are you guys good with waiting on that? Do you want a second opinion?
Like a little more direction before kicking it down the road. A little bit more, context to why they think it should be, not fixed and pushed out 12 months.
Well, repairing a shade sail is not normal. I think that that's a kind of a courtesy band-aid, I guess you might say, to replacing. A lot of companies won't repair the shade sails. They'll wait until they get bad enough to replace, and that's it.
But they offered to do it at one point, and they're changing their mind now. So I just want a little bit of understanding.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's been a little less than a year, so that's quite a long time for further damage. I will tell you exactly what they said. The
Did you
shades.
say, oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
do we have a quote for a replacement or not yet?
No, I did ask them for it, but I think they put it on the back burner because we're not looking at actually doing it for at least another year. So what they said is the shade sails. So, sorry. We were on site yesterday, completed an inspection of the shade sail structures. During our review, we found additional damage and recommend that the shades be replaced. This is not an urgent issue. We do suggest planning for replacement by next year. I asked them, that's not what we wanted to hear. Is this for all 3 parks? Please send us a proposal for your recommendation. They said we'll get working on it. The shades are not in rough shape. They just have a few holes and tears that have expanded since our inspection last year. We think that the community can manage another year before this absolutely needs to be done. Regardless, we'll put a proposal together. And that was on the 19th.
Well, next year is in like 6 months. Is there any way to get a quote from a few vendors?
We can ask for, I mean, I would suggest getting a second opinion first to maybe see if somebody else will repair. Try to save
Doesn't
some money
hurt.
and make it last longer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start there.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
let's
about to
have
get
one.
into a windy season. If we can avoid some additional damage, that would be awesome.
Well, and hopefully there's no safety concerns either.
No, there are not safety concerns. All right, and then the reserve study update, obviously we talked about that. It's further on in the agenda to discuss the draft. And the boundary wall repairs are obviously in progress. We did talk about sending the engineer out to inspect the 3 walls. We got an email back today, and again, I didn't read all the way through it as I was leaving the office. Everything seemed to come in kind of all at once. But Greg said that he did not think that any of the 3 needed immediate repairs, which is really, really good news. But all of them are in the first phase 1 of the repair project. So they are higher priority. They're just not obviously safety conditions, which is great. So we will be asking him to do inspections as we get reported concerns from homeowners, just to make sure that we're covering ourselves. We obviously don't want to be negligent about anything or ignore any safety concerns. Again, I will check with Greg to make sure that there's not an additional cost for that.
Hey, Julia, we had a question on the chat. Katie is asking about the signs. Oh, what did the sign say that were on the playground? That's what she was.
Give me 1 second. I can probably look it up.
I think
Yeah,
Alex.
it was basically Bellator, was it, that installed them? Whomever installed them basically was like a safeguard for liability, that the playground's not meant for children over a certain age, I think. It's so that there was an intentional purpose.
Yeah. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, they have like ADAQ rules and regs and stuff that they recommend that communities abide by. They're not required, but obviously they want to keep communities as up to date and in check with those as they can, compliant with them. All right, does anyone else have any questions on the management report?
Do we have anything to talk about for the lights in the park areas? That was mentioned because of all of the graffiti and things. Is that sort of on hold because there's so many other projects going on right now?
I wish. No, it's not on hold. I received a bunch of attachments instead of 3 different proposals all separated and organized. So I went back to that vendor. He put them together separately, so they'll be presented to the board at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right. Okay, we don't have any unfinished business. For new business, we want to memorialize the items approved between meetings. The American flag proposal with shamrock flags was $1,120. This is just for the initial year. There's a one-time initial setup fee for them, so it will be less expensive each year going forward. And then turf fertilizer was also approved between meetings. That was for with GNL Landscaping for $2,800. I do have a few things for additional business. The authorities just set the agenda. So I'm going to just keep this on the back screen while I pull that up. That's not the right community, sorry. Okay. So with the new laws that passed, this is something that, sorry. Something that the law requires is for either the management company or the board president to set the agenda. We are asking Desert Vista. Desert Vista is asking all of our communities to have the board president responsible for this ultimately. So what we'll do is we'll put the board packets together like normal. Obviously, you guys don't have all of the information. You can't see the open appeals. And instead of forwarding everything to you and you putting it all together, we're going to put together the board packets like normal. We'll send it to the board president, have the board president basically approve the executive agenda, and that will satisfy the president setting the executive agenda. So we would like for the board president to sign this stating that they're okay with setting the executive agenda. And then moving forward with our board packets, we'll just send it to the president first, get the approval, and then forward it on to the rest of the board.
Being the board president, I have a couple questions. So I get it right. I can't put those agendas together. You guys have to do that. What liability do I have as the board president? You guys send me the agenda. I say, yep, it's approved, and then we find out it's wrong. Where am I at in this? Because do you know what I mean? How does that play out?
It's really hard to make the agenda wrong. I mean, there's nothing legal governing the agenda. It just needs to be there, and they're going to cover anything that needs to go. You can add anything.
I fully agree, but something's driving Desert Vista to not want to have this liability on their side. They're asking the board to approve it. So I'm curious as to why, right? There's some liability you guys see on your end that I would now be being asked to sign and approve. I just want to understand what that is. And it may be nothing. And I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it, but with all the changes going on, I have to at least ask.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like Kathy said, I was trying to think of a way that it could be wrong or against the law or something like that. But with us putting it together, we're going to make sure it looks appropriate first, and then just kind of send it to you as a formality. I think the liability for Desert Vista is that we just don't want to take on additional responsibility for anything that should be board responsibility. I think it's just Michael protecting his company. But I can ask for further information if you're not comfortable with it. I would say also what you have to go off of is previous executive, like you can use this executive agenda, you can check the template against, you know, any future agendas, because it's going to be, we always use the same template. We just add whatever information in that we have to address that particular month. We can do
Cody,
something
every
like
single
send you a report of all the appeals that we've received so you can make sure they're on the agenda. I'm not sure how else we can make sure that you can make sure that the agenda looks correct.
Cody, every other board I've served on, that's how it was always done. This isn't anything new. This is the management company didn't make this decision. It was a legal decision. And they just want to make sure that the body that speaks for the homeowners has input into the board agenda. So I don't see that there's any
But I
kind of.
fully agree with you, Kathy, there. But to that same point, if there's nothing there to worry about, why, Julia, I'd like to speak to Michael on this, just ask a couple questions, and then I should be fine with it. I just want to talk through him on a few things, is where I'm at.
Yeah. Are you okay with email, or do you want to call?
Yeah, just tell him to give me a call.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Let's see. Next. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I don't think we already talked about the perimeter walls, so I'm crossing that out. This is all additional business, so it's not on your agenda. It's things that have come in since. So the rules and regulations proposal. So you guys had tabled it. You were waiting on what you. Let me pull it up. I'm sorry. So what you had asked is you would like for Michael to provide a list of items to be added and removed, and send it back to the board for the reconsideration of Desert Vista's proposal to draft the revision. The board would like for Michael to find anything contradictory between documents to be revised, along with utilizing the homeowner survey for items to be added and removed. Michael came back and said that's the exact work that he is trying to get the proposal approved for. So he sent me the process. He said basically, let's see, going through and finding those discrepancies, making suggestions for changes is part of what the fee covers. That work needs to only begin after receiving a signed proposal. This is a significant amount of time and work that needs to be compensated for. The general process is as follows. I will lay out for the board the items I think need to be added or changed. I will not include new language, etc. at this step. Once the board okays the list of changes and provides us with any changes they may want, we will draft the revisions and reformat their existing rules. We recommend the board put the revised rules in front of legal counsel for review, which of course would be an additional charge from the attorney. We also encourage the association to send out the revised rules to the community for comment before formally adopting. Once the attorney and the homeowner feedback is received, the board can decide what, if any, changes to make. We'll make the changes and the board can adopt the final draft. all of that is included in Desert Vista's proposal for $500. Although there is a caveat on the proposal that says the cost of additional revisions will be $100 per occurrence. So you get that full process, and then if there's anything additional or that needs to be changed after the fact, that's $100 per occurrence.
I can see where he's coming from. That makes sense.
You guys
How
want
much
to?
was the revision? Sorry, how much, Julia, was the revisions that we suggest or request to it?
How much is Michael charging you for it?
Right. Yes. Yes. Sorry.
$500.
500. Okay.
And then each revision is $100, correct?
After that big process, I mean, he's got quite a few revisions listed throughout the process, but that's all included in the $500. If there's any
Oh,
revisions after the fact, that will be $100 per occurrence.
okay.
Just to make sure. So an occurrence, so we go through this whole thing, we get it, we find 4 changes we want made to 4 different sections, send it to you guys at once. That's one occurrence or one revision. So $100 charge, or is it per line item?
Good question.
Hold on a second. It's gonna be, I mean, one revision. If I understand your question correctly, outside of the normal process, once all of that is completed, and then you guys want 3 different changes made, that's one revision. Does that answer your question?
Okay. Yep, perfect. It all sounds fair to me.
I'm speaking for Michael. I'm just telling you that. We'll write it in if we have to.
Perfect.
I do feel like I want to send you guys this process for revision, additional revision per occurrence, not per line item. So I'll send you off that that email as well so that you guys have it in writing. And then I'll also basically just add a second page to Michael's proposal when I add it to your contracts and send it to you for signature. That way you guys have it as part of this proposal. That, I think that covers you guys pretty well. Did anyone want to make a motion to approve the proposal?
Motion. I like it. Or did you already do that, Cody? Sorry.
I'll either motion or I'll second, whatever one works. Yep.
Okay, let's open it up for homeowners. Does any homeowners want to comment or question? Okay, board, all in favor?
Aye.
Alicia? I'll just say Alicia abstains. She might have
I'm
walked
good.
away.
No, I'm good. Sorry.
Okay, I'll approve. Thank you. Give me just 1 second. Okay, the social committee. So I know that that was included in the homeowner survey. What we had decided on at the last meeting or discussed at the last meeting was something. Board directed management to reach out to 34 homeowners that express interest in serving on the social committee. So I have been trying to get Michael to send me the 34 homeowners. Unfortunately, he says he doesn't have access to who voted for what when they just answer, yes or no on something. So he said he was not able to send me that list, but what we would suggest is if we are interested in moving forward with the social committee, and just so you know, from the community updates email I sent, I've already received 2 people have responded and said they'd be interested in serving. And it wasn't even asking for volunteers. So I would say we might want to send out an email blast to the community asking for volunteers to serve on the social committee, kind of letting them know that it's not something the management company would run. It's not like a board or an architectural committee. It's kind of homeowner run. So we would need um, basically somebody to step up as the chair and run that committee. And we'd kind of spell that out in a nice and happy way, um, to have homeowners really want to take part and go out and find sponsors and money for these events. That way, not too much money is coming out of the community's pocket, but they're basically finding alternative methods to raise the money and host events. Sound
And
good?
it sounded like a
Everybody
good
with the email
idea.
blast?
Alicia wanted to be on that committee. She could be in charge of the committee, Alicia.
I
Do I
don't
remember
know
right?
that I should be like the head person of it. I don't have time to go find sponsors and stuff.
Well, maybe if you get it started, then then you can have people be in charge.
Yeah, my
I
understanding.
yeah.
Please go ahead, Alicia. Sorry.
I don't mind like being a member and just having like a board say in things if that's needed, but I didn't want to be like the one running the whole thing.
Julia, my understanding, we had a paint committee that reviewed the whole paint palette for the community, and the prior management company said that there has to be one board member that's represented in that group. Is that correct?
No, not for the social committee. I don't think that technically there is for something like a paint committee, although if it has something to do with um, like approving an approved paint palette, then you would want a board voice in there. You would want a chair for that. That's perfectly acceptable. Something like the social committee is really just allowing a space for homeowners to come together and giving them, kind of an opportunity to work with management if they need help on things and that kind of thing. So it's kind of just organizing homeowners getting together a little bit further than what would normally be able to happen. And then, if there's like a couple of blocks over here, a couple of blocks over there that normally do their own kind of get-togethers, it's really bringing the spaces together for an entire community. But no, a chair is not required for the social committee. Sorry, a board member chairing is not required. Uh,
So how would
so
the committee work with you guys if there wasn't a board member on it? Um,
it would be whoever the chair is would be communicating with us, and it would just be things like request to send out event flyers. I mean, I have other communities that do this as well. The chair reaches out to me with a flyer that they put together in one of those office. I don't know what the app is. Um, PowerPoint, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, they'll put together the flyer, send it to us. They usually actually just copy the board president and ask us to send out an email blast. If they need homeowner communication, they'll request it from the board and copy us so that the board can then just approve whatever homeowner communication needs to happen. So it is kind of all tied in together, but it's specifically the chair from the committee would be the main liaison between the board and the management company.
okay.
Any other questions? And just to be clear, Alicia, if you were on the committee, you would not be able to speak for the board. You would just be a member on the social committee.
Right.
Which is kind of a weight taken off, I feel like. When people ask you questions or come at you, you can just be like, I can't talk about that.
Yeah.
This is just a fun committee, basically. You guys okay with the email blast then?
Please.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll send you guys the draft and you can edit or approve as you see fit. All right, the community updates, how did you guys feel on that? Are you happy with it? Does anybody have any questions or comments? And I am including homeowners. If you guys had questions or comments on the community updates email blast that was sent out, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there for discussion since it was our first one.
I liked it.
I think it's great. It's brass tacks. It gets to the detail and like doesn't, put a lot of fluff in there. Um, it, maybe I don't know. I could get into details about like design or like how to sort stuff all day long, but really, honestly, anybody that's taking a few seconds to just read it can digest it no problem, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Cool. The formatting is really hard, just so you know.
Yeah.
Because it's the way our software, I mean, it takes a lot of time to format stuff and make it look great anyways, but the way our software works, it's just one tiny little text box that comes up for me, and you can't see when you highlight or bold or underline something, you can't see it being highlighted or bolded. So it's really difficult to do in our software, so we try to keep it simple, unless we do it in Word and then add it, like attach it as a PDF, but it's all extra. And
Yeah,
I
exactly.
try to simplify and stay away from fluff too, so. Let's see what else we've got. The irrigation invoice for $1,404 from Gary with GNL for the West Wall irrigation shutoff. I want to pull it up for you guys so you can see as well. Is that too small?
It's not shared.
Oh, sorry. How's that? Hmm. Oh, I thought he put the date in there as June 10th. That's funny. Um, any questions on it? Does anyone want a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
I'll open it for homeowner questions or comments. Board, all in favor?
I
Alicia?
Aye.
All right, I'll approve except Alicia. Okay. That's all I have for you guys. Does anyone
yay.
have anything else for me?
Good work. Did it in time.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Cool. All right, we'll adjourn at 7:56. Thank you guys so
Thanks
much.
to all
If
the,
you have anything
thanks to
else,
all the homeowners that joined us. Appreciate
yes.
Yeah,
having
thank
other
you.
people on the line with us. Is the meeting in person the one coming up in June?
Yes. June's meeting is in person.
All right. I probably won't be there.
You don't like to come in
No,
person?
I'm having surgery the day before, knee replacement surgery.
Okay. All right.
That's
Well, thank you for letting us know.
tough. I could just come from the hospital directly there, I guess.
I don't know. You're going to be on a lot of drugs, Kathy.
I was going to say, I'd be probably a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, I think one other board member maybe wasn't able to make it, so, or was checking on his schedule. So if you guys can just let me know if you're not able to make it, we need to make sure we have quorum. So as long as we've got 3 there, we can hold the meeting. But let me know so that we know in advance. We can
Julia,
skip a
what day
meeting.
was that again?
Sorry?
What day was that again?
25th.
Or no, 4th, the 25th, yeah. 4th Thursday is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, okay.
June 25th. And you guys hold it at HD South, the Gilbert Historical Museum, right? That's where I have another monthly meeting there, so. Cool. How many homeowners do you usually have at the in-person meetings?
Varies widely. The first one that we had was a good crowd. We had, I want to say, like 40 people at it, but there was a lot of controversy then. There was an election ordeal and stuff. So the last couple have been like, you can count them on one hand.
Okay. Holy 40, that's a lot. Well, I'm gonna print like maybe 15 packet. I'm not gonna print 40 packet.
I think
The
it'll be
next,
just.
that's also is that also our annual as well?
Your
So,
annual is, yep, that's
so it's
also
also the annual with the election results. So I would venture to guess we're going to have more than 4 or 5 people.
so we'll probably, I mean, are you guys good with just holding the annual and not the regular open and executive meetings? We normally skip, especially for monthly communities, we normally skip the open and executive meetings on the annual meeting dates, but it's up to you guys if you feel like you have enough business that you need to hold an executive and open. Maybe we can discuss further on in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Don't know what's coming up.
Yeah.
What are
You
the
want to
2
talk about it?
positions that are open? There's 2 positions.
Correct.
Who is that for?
That's Marcus and myself.
Okay.
Okay. Well, cool, guys. I think that's all we have. Please let me know if you have any questions between meetings. Just send me an email. I'd be happy to help. Bye,
Thank you,
guys.
Jim.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good
Good
day.
night.
Bye, guys.